Welcome to It's On Halifax with your hosts, Mark Adam and Pat King. It's On Halifax is brought to you by Maladjusted Media and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.
Welcome to another week of It's On Halifax. Thank you for joining us, everybody. My name is Pat King. I'm one of your hosts, and sitting to my left is our other host,
Mark Adam. I'm on the end if you're watching live. If you're listening, it doesn't matter where I'm sitting. And our guest this week is from the Daily Sweets Vintage Arcade, Halifax Vintage Arcade. Well, I'm not sure which way to call it.
I'll explain it.
Okay, he'll explain.
Yeah, sure.
It's Danny Baldwin,
Hello,
who
everyone.
hasn't been back since, what, episode 7? Way back?
7 or 8. I remember I was on the episode right after the one titled Mayo. What was it?
Yao Ming's Penis.
Yao Ming's Penis. Yeah,
Yes.
that sticks in my head.
Yeah,
Not
which
the
I think
penis,
was
the
that was
episode.
episode 6, so you're episode 7.
Yeah,
So if you want to go back in the archives, I guess.
Yeah,
Sure.
that was a good solid, year ago?
that was actually. We didn't know what to call ourselves then, so that's probably why you're calling us many different names right now. But the deal is, Halifax Vintage Arcades is the company name. We try to set up arcades in various locations if people want them. So when we set up an arcade for someone, like at the Daily Sweets Corner Store, we just call it the Daily Sweets Vintage Arcade. So for that look, you're right on both counts, but the main company, or what I'm running, is the Halifax Vintage Arcades.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
And your business has evolved over the last year to include a hell of a lot more than just your arcade in the back of a convenience store. You've got some big things planned now, and a lot of big things going on.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Today it's, this is kind of the official announcement. Next week, probably by Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest, we're starting a Kickstarter campaign to launch Halifax's Vintage Arcade Museum. So, it's hard to get excited maybe about a museum per se, but let me take 2 seconds and sort of describe the vision of what we want this place to be. So it's besides a collection of vintage games dating back to 1965, we want to have a community center almost. So some of the plans right now include to have like a community podcast center to be manned and used by anyone and everyone, and we'll have people available to teach people how to use the equipment, launch podcasts, give advice, that sort of stuff. We also want to have it as like a family-orientated area, so there'll be like areas that can be rented for birthday parties or special events, those type of things, as well as, and I can't believe I'm saying this, a complete collection of games, which includes not only coin-op, but things that they have evolved into, which includes some sort of redemption type, coins and tickets type things. So I just think it's fair to go the whole mile with it.
Well, I mean, for the sake of history, it's a museum, so you have to include those games that feed kids tickets and give you cheap prizes.
Yeah, exactly. It was really funny because along the way of this whole crazy arcade adventure, I'm in an ego trap with the Jammer era games. Like those are the ones like post 1984, anything like a Street Fighter, Simpsons, that type of thing. And then I've met guys who are pre-Jammer era that look at the games that I cherish as we would look at perhaps maybe a Ticket and Token type era. And then I've even met some folks that are, only want 60s mechanical interactive type machines, and they think anything from, the golden era, the 80, 84 is garbage. So it's really interesting, actually. I think there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
Yeah, you really have to run the gamut just for the sake of history and to see what people like and the kind of phases that it all went through. I mean, what do you think was the first game that passed out tickets, like skee ball or something?
Oh, wow.
Gotta be. Now that's a piece of trivia for
That
you.
is, I'll be honest, I do a lot of research just in case I get asked questions about arcades. I mean, I love video games, I love arcades, but I'll be honest, before I started the arcade, I wasn't like an expert by any means. I sort of just picked it up, and it sort of embodied me right now. So I couldn't say. I would have to guess it would be one of those type of skee ball, like something at a fair or like a county fair type thing and whatnot. I know these days, I mean, there's some of them. Some of them are pretty decent, I'll say. I don't think I'd ever give up my Street Fighter for it, but I'll give the kids a break and let them do what they want to do.
So, last time you had talked about, your barcade idea. That's sort of on the back burner at the moment. You've got this on the go. what else have you got on the horizon? Is this sort of the big thing you're just sort of taking over your life with right now?
I'll be honest. I think the museum is the end game. At the time when we all first chatted and got to know each other, the barcade seemed like the obvious next step for it. But after research and talking to a lot of different people, I'm really active on social media. I get a lot of people love to give their advice on what you should be doing with your business, which is awesome, to be honest, because that's where 99% of our ideas for things come from, is what people suggest and conversations I've had. And I thought, if we went the barcade route, we'd be in the bar business. And I just don't necessarily think that would be my strength. I want to be in like the family orientated entertainment business, I guess. And I think like a bar, there's a lot more responsibilities. Like I said, that would probably consume most of my time, is to make sure that the bar's being run properly and such. And I have less time to focus on the things that I enjoy doing, which is why I was doing this, which is finding the games, finding a way to get them fixed up, running events, running tournaments, that type of thing. So that's where we're sort of going. I said this is the new end game, and I think it appeals to a broader range of people. I don't have any scientific evidence, but I know a lot of my friends, a lot of people I've met along the way, like true hardcore gamers that might be regulars or supporters, aren't really that caught up on if there's a beer available at the time to play the game and such. You know what I mean? So you can have fun without alcohol for sure. I mean, it can be fun, but you can have lots of fun.
Well, it's an arcade. I mean, that's what it's made for. It's fun.
Exactly.
I feel like you've got a lot of first-hand experience, because I've spent a lot of time at the arcade down at Daily Sweets, and it seems like a community just kind of came out of nowhere and built around it.
It was I think there's a lot of people that didn't have something like that to go to, and you provided them.
Yeah, it was a shot in the dark. Like you said, it was low risk. I got the games through trading stuff on Kijiji. That's how the arcade got started, and didn't invest a lot of money out of pocket to get it going. We put in a couple machines and created a Twitter handle, and from there, we're up to, we have about 19 cabinets, but we can serve up about 200 different games on those cabinets.
With the Neo Geo?
Yeah, the Neo Geo cabinet is pretty
Love
sweet
it.
and such like that. That we can feature a new game each week on that, or people can pick and play different games on it. So we're actually moving that down to Smew next week when we get a few days without rain.
Yeah.
So the kids down there will have a good shot at it. But like I said, I'm really looking forward to the museum. I keep calling it a museum because I want people to take it seriously. I don't want them to look at it like it's just like a collection, like an arcade.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be. And once we launch the Kickstarter campaign, you get to see our video. You'll get to see some of the concepts and ideas and types of games and things we're talking about that this could be. So we see it like a museum, like with a feature. There's a feature display or a feature draw for that month or two, and we've already have 2 years worth of exhibits planned out, and we have access to these games. So we want to start it with like a Star Wars theme launch.
Nice.
So we have through an independent collector who we partnered with. I just met this guy through Kijiji. Fully restored, working, just friggin' awesome Star Wars games if you're into the vector-based games.
Is it one of the old ones where you actually sit in it?
Yeah, we have
a TIE fighter type deal?
Or
there's stand-up versions and cockpit versions of that, and we have both.
Nice.
Yeah.
That seems like a good place to start.
So around that, you can build like a really fun event theme idea just around that, and then from there we have, like I said, we have access to, I'd say close to 75% of all the games that were released from 1980 to 1984, and if they're not already restored, they're close to it and close to working. And like I said, we've partnered with an independent collector who really gets fun out of people enjoying these games, and he's excited to get them out to the public.
Yeah,
and people play them. Like that's the beauty of these things.
As a private collector, why would you want to just sit on all these video games and like never ever use them and be your own private entertainment? Sure, but you mentioned a lot of things like teaching people how to fix these machines up, or teaching people how to build their own arcade cabinets, which was really interesting to me because it's really not as hard as some people might think, and I think that would be a great project for a lot of people.
I agree. Like I wasn't a hardware dude at all. I've had a lot of help from I met this guy Taylor through Twitter who's been like pretty much taught me anything electrical to do with the machines, and he's spent a lot of time fixing them up and helping me out. But once someone shows you and things get explained, and you follow it up with reading or watching some YouTube videos, like it's like anything, you can figure it out if you just spend the time in doing it. And I think it would be awesome. Like I said, we don't want people not to have these machines at home. Like we're trying to present authentic, real machines, like as they were when they came off the production line. These aren't, this isn't a PC running 50 versions of this game. This is the original board, as much as it can be. Like as much original as
controls.
Original everything. Like we've had this in the arcade, but we've had some problems with it. With the electrical, but like Rampage, like our Rampage is exactly how it came out of the box when it was sent from the makers to the arcade.
And the original Rampage is what, from the early 80s?
That's 85. 86. Sorry, 86.
So that's like, for something like that to be in still working condition is kind of impressive.
Yeah.
That's older than Pat.
Yeah,
Really is. And I'm impressed that he's in working condition.
Yeah, well, I'd say these games probably work a little harder than Pat most times. Just talk about it.
Listen.
But and then some of the that's the oldest game that I personally, that the arcade owns right now. But we've gone down and we posted some of the pics on the Facebook and Twitter accounts for the arcade.
By the way, throw it out there. The Twitter account is Halifax Vintage. So at Halifax Vintage, and your Facebook page is facebook.com/Daily Sweets Vintage Arcade.
That's right. Yeah. If you do a Google search just for Halifax Vintage, the Twitter, Facebook, everything will show up right away. And then we're trying to differentiate the museum from the arcade, because I want to keep the arcade going and alive in the store. It's just fun. It's just fun to have that there. It's just fun that the kids that come in and the families come and play it. So I don't want to abandon that. So we've created a separate page for the museum, and I promise we'll have unique content for both. It's HVA Facebook /HVA Museum.
HVA Museum.
Yeah, and so on there we posted just a couple pics for now, because we don't want to. We're a little behind schedule with the Kickstarter campaign. Like, we've submitted it and it's with them for review, and as soon as they it's they say max 2 to 3 business days, and I'm positive it meets the criteria, because we look through, this is a legitimate project and we need community support to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
So and with anyone's familiar with Kickstarter, like, they ask you, part of their template is you do a promotional video explaining your idea and what it is, and they guide you through the content to provide, so people can adequately evaluate if they want to donate to this or not. So
and that
I
video
don't
is
want
going to be
to
out this week?
It'll be out this week, and I promise I'll be pumping the shit out of it on. If you follow us on any social media, you won't miss it. I promise you.
No, I'm really looking forward to it and the project itself. Have you come up with any ideas? A lot of Kickstarter campaigns have the rewards programs for donations, and a lot of Kickstarter campaigns will slowly release new information, or new images, new videos, that kind of thing. You have that all planned out?
Yeah, it's all planned out, and we took a real strict business approach to it. We looked for like good prizes, that match the donation amounts, and the prizes that we could get produced, because obviously we're trying to make money here. So
well, yeah.
We're not trying to rip anyone off, but it's like, here's the breakdown. I can actually kind of talk about it now. I have it memorized. I think it's the first donation amount is $10, and that's you get a Halifax's Vintage Arcade Museum bumper sticker with it, and we'll ship that for free within Canada, and then we add like $5 for shipping if it's outside of Canada, because we're hoping like through our other social media for the arcade, we have it's majority local following, but there is a few people out there from a lot of different places that follow and interact with the arcade regularly. Like, there's a group from Australia that I met through Twitter that are really active in everything that we do and support us. Even they're so far away, they'll likely never
the
get
other
in.
side of the world, quite literally.
But they love the old school arcades, and they just want to see someone see it still alive and help support it. And we have throughout the States, and quite a few through UK, which I think is because there's obviously a Halifax in the UK.
Yes.
I have no idea, but there's a unproportionate amount from that area.
Well, that
but
actually
they still interact and like us. They're probably trying to find the place.
Are you kidding? That benefits us as well, because we get that same thing. It's on Halifax.
Like a third of the people who subscribe to our podcast on the regular basis are from the UK.
We should check that out sometime.
Yeah, exactly. I actually a couple of times I said, anybody from the UK who's listening, just message us on Facebook or get in touch with us, because, I mean, how did you end up finding us, and why are you still listening?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I want to genuinely know.
Yeah.
Thank you, but what are you doing?
Yeah. So with the, like I said, with the Kickstarter, we have my buddy Kevin McDonald put in probably about 200 hours in the last 3 or 4 days last week, just helping crunch out the videos, and we did a professional photo shoot of the machines that we're going to be featuring and having, and like I said, we'll be releasing that all through. I don't want to take away from the Fizz, but back to the Kickstarter process, or things. The second thing is, now we wanted to include with it, like, anyone that donated got like a free pass, or like if an organization donated, like a company donated, like a free Christmas party, like those type of things.
Nice.
But Kickstarter doesn't allow you to. It didn't really fit within the agenda, because then something like that has no cost.
Or that kind of thing, yeah.
So
it's got no monetary
I want
value.
to say, I'm going to have a list of everyone that donated, and unofficially you'll be hooked up and you'll get into the museum, obviously, you know what I mean. But so beyond that, it's $10, like I said, the bumper sticker, and then the next one I think jumps to $40, and that's a men's or women's white or black T-shirt, same with our logo on it. And then from 40, I think it goes to 100, and with that you get a polo shirt, again, men's or women's. And then the next upgrade in prize is a hoodie, like a zip-up hoodie,
Nice,
with a design on the front and back. And then the big granddaddy is a arcade machine, and we have a limit on that. It's max 3. I mean, if we get one, that'll be a miracle, to be honest. But we had to do it. But if you donate, I think it's $1,500 or more, you get an arcade machine delivered to you if you're within HRM. Outside of that, we'll have to figure out the shipping, but if someone wants to donate, I'll get you the machine. If I have to stick it on the back of my bike and wheel it down on a wagon, you'll get it.
Just carry it right on your back.
So, and that would be a machine from JAMA 90s era. So, and it would be from our collection that we currently have. It won't include all of them, but we'll have a selection of 5 to 6 games for them to pick from. Over the different genres, so like a fighting game, a shooter. The Neo Geo cab won't be one of them, obviously. The Simpsons won't be, because that's an original cabinet, or Rampage. But some of the other machines.
One of the ones you picked up along the way.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So and with Kickstarter, is it if you donate the $1,500, let's say, you get the cabinet? Do you also get the hoodie and the shirt and everything that comes underneath it?
I didn't set it up that way because, to be honest, when I said we took a strict business approach, one of the things we looked at was like the return on investment. So if someone donates like the $10, I think it costs us like just less than $1, including shipping and getting it out to everyone for the bumper sticker. So we know we make like 90% return on that donation, right?
Yeah.
So throughout it, and based on like guidelines and help that we got from other people, we tried to maintain like a 70% return on investment that we got, because we didn't, if someone donates 40, we don't want to spend 25 to get them a hoodie. They might as well have donated 15, I guess, from trying to raise money point of view. So we didn't set it up to cascade like that. But again, if someone wanted one of those specific items and they had donated above and beyond, I had no problem sending it out to them. You know what I mean? If they asked it. So.
And you've got a pretty monumental goal. I mean, it's no small thing that you're trying to do here.
Yeah, people say, well, why do you need the money? Like, what's up with that? Like, the truth is, when this whole adventure started, like on a trade something for something on Kijiji, because I heard about this girl that traded a paper clip. You must have heard that story. And eventually, she cashed out a house or something like that. I was like, that's really cool. I was like, that's probably exaggerated, but that's kind of cool, like trade things and try to get a better trade.
So it kind of turned out as this experiment?
And so what happened is I had a WWF replica heavyweight championship belt that my girlfriend at the time was dying for me to part with. And so I was like, I heard that story, and I just one night, whatever, I was laying in bed, I was like, screw it. So I posted on Kijiji this belt for trade, and then through a series of trades and stuff, I ended up with two machines. And I had those up for trade, and this lady at the corner store, at the Daily Sweets, Teresa, she wrote me and she's like, do the coins work, and can I buy them? And I was like, that kind of tipped it off that she had a place to put them. And I just, like I said, at that point I still really wasn't thinking arcade. I was thinking, I'll chuck a couple of machines in there. And I went down and I saw the space, and it was like awesome. It was like could hold like 10 to 12 machines. I just looked at her and said, well, can we just fill it up and let's work something out? And she was like, let's do it. And then it was born. You know what I mean? And then it was from there. So with this, I'm trying to keep that whole. It's really cool, like how business is going. Like people, people without connections and just everyday people can get support and get help. And if you have an awesome idea and awesome content, and people think you can do it, they're going to help you. Like there's a million of success stories of people that have raised money, socially without, being. I always thought, when you're younger, you always think like the world works on like connections of who knows what, or you won't get help. You got to know this person. It's like, well, maybe that was the way before, everyday people had a way to reach out to other everyday
before the
people.
internet, sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Before
now
Twitter.
it's just like, even like with this arcade, like with the arcade, like just like meeting Taylor and meeting you guys. I mean, I don't know how it would have ever connected. If this was the 80s, it'd be fun to like, let's reenact this story in the 80s.
Like, see how
know.
easy it is to just find an arcade somewhere.
Yeah.
Then again, in the 80s, they were a little more prevalent, but
there were podcasts, so maybe we'd be recording on cassettes and airdropping them to people.
Yeah,
Listen to
selling them out of the back of our car.
Yeah, exactly.
But
it's amazing, and like anyone can really, if you have a goal and you have passion, you want to do something, man, you can just do it. Just try it. It doesn't cost anything. Like I said, the arcade, we spent money now because it was worth investing, and there was a lot of support, and we were like, this can be more than what it is. And same at the museum, like my time doesn't cost anything, but in a way it does. I could be working and making money during the day, and so like right now I'm so invested in this. I'm working back shift in a warehouse to make extra cash to make sure we can pay the bills, just so I can have the time and energy to focus on the Kickstarter campaign and the museum and stuff. And it's worth every
and I mean
every bit of it is worth it, man.
You're definitely not trying to strike it rich here. I mean, with the whole sense of community, it's a place to go. I mean, so long as you can make a living, I would love to have a place like this where people can just go and relax and basically hang out with like-minded people and learn learn a couple of things and play arcade games.
Yeah, and I think it'd be
Damn
like
right.
totally event-driven. Like everything will be we've sat down and we've like thought of, we have a list already, probably like 200 different things, but that's not enough. Like that's only enough for the first 200 days. You know what I mean? Like we need if this is going to work, you need more than just come down and play video games. We need to have things evolve. Like we need to, again, I don't know what they all will be, and they'll be from other people. Like
So do you envision this being somewhat sort of like more like a discovery center with arcade machines? Is that
kind of, but more
like family oriented entertainment and education?
Exactly. Like I envision things like, maybe like each weekend we have a workshop on beers, because the arcades, there's a lot of different. What's cool I've discovered about arcades, like there's so many different aspects of I guess the business or of life that are reflected in an arcade. Like you have like technology, and you have like electricity, like computers. You have software and programming. You have art. Like art is probably like if you had to put it on a scale, like the artwork and the creative that goes into, even if it was like a 1980s game, definitely outweighs like the technology and stuff like that. It's amazing. Like you see, like when some of these games that I didn't even had seen when I went to meet with this guy that has the collection, and I was like, the artwork alone, like I spent more time studying and taking pictures of the artwork than I did playing the game, and that's not a knock at the game. And when I started playing, it was awesome. But I'm telling you, because the games, they were limited with the graphics, right? So they had to really set you up and get your mind ready to interpret this 8-bit graphic as this, like, remember like the artwork on the Atari 2600 cartridge?
It brings them
it was like an IMAX 3D movie or something.
Yeah, it brings them on the cover of Mega Man 2.
Yeah,
where
it's like
he's
literally
this
just
deformed
a
dude.
dot.
Yeah,
just moving a dot around. Like.
But the cover is just like this huge, epic, like guy with a sword and his shirt off.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, wait, no, this is just like a bunch of pixels jammed
You know what
together.
I mean? So there's a lot of pressure on artists and stuff like that, and just even like in with promoting, like I think it's really an art form to like social media itself. It's a form of communication. It's a form
absolutely.
of art, and you need, like, I think the biggest thing is just having like genuine and interesting content. Like I try to run the social media stuff as like I would when I'm having a conversation with you guys about it. I'm just trying to share the same sort of things. Like I'm just not, I try to promote, like if we have an event and stuff like that, yeah, it's awesome. But we're just trying to build it sounds so cliche, but just build a group of people that are into it.
Well, yeah, and I love when you talk about having a little podcast area. because not only can people come and record if they don't have their own equipment, and they can learn about podcasting and things like that because we've had such a growing community, but it would give us an opportunity to actually directly connect with our audience. Because they could be sitting in front of us while we record.
Yeah, I think that would be amazing. Like, you could come down and watch your favorite podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it allows them to participate. They can
meet the people. And
yeah,
like I said, something like that. And people say, "Why are you so caught up on this podcast? Like, why are you caught up on that?" It's just because that was like really important part into getting the arcade and the word out there. Like, yeah, we could throw an ad on the radio and hope it hits some people that may or may not be interested. You know what I mean? But if you go through and get on the right podcast, I mean, you might connect with 200-300 or maybe 1,000 of people that are genuinely interested in what you're saying. It's just not a blanket message just trying to be generic enough to raise enough eyebrows.
It's a targeted,
and that's what I'm trying to do with the museum. Like, I want to, like, if you have a podcast and you want to talk about it, I don't care if you have no listeners. I always want to come on and talk about it and be part of it. Like, let's do it.
Have you thought about things like live music as well?
Like going to at the arcade?
At the arcade.
Absolutely, but I think more of as an exception is more of on the regular. But there's tons of bands that we've connected with along the way that are either fans of arcades or fans of what we're doing or fans of the museum.
Well, yeah, we interviewed the Cartridge family at one point.
Guys are awesome.
They're epic.
They are awesome.
They continually tweet to us and keep connected, and I mean that's the beauty of social media. Like you keep saying, like it connects people like never before, and we ended up finding you on Twitter.
And that's what I say. I found you guys on Twitter. You know what I mean? And here I am back again today. I see Pat at least once a month, twice a month.
Yeah,
at the arcade,
if not more often.
You know what I mean? We had a beer at the Mooseheads game through Twitter. Seeing you tweet that you're at the game, and it's like, hey man, let's meet for a beer. It was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
first intermission beers.
Yeah. So it's just I don't know. It's just I don't know why we're on this talking about all that, but. I just think it's important because it's part of the culture of the museum, and that's what I want it to be like. I want, like, if you're good at something or love doing something, like, that makes you happy, and you think that would contribute to the museum in some way, then come down and do it and help us out and do it. Like, man, that's what life should be.
With Twitter and Facebook, I mean, it's a way to connect, and you have this network, but sometimes you just don't have the place to go. It never really manifests into anything. You've got people on Twitter that you've never met ever in your real life.
We were just talking about that earlier, about there's people I feel like I know so well.
Yeah, like Derek Ord, you mentioned you've never met him, but you've contacted him through Twitter a lot, and I mean he's a constant tweeter. Yeah. But a place like this,
he was the one that mentioned you to us. He was on episode 6, Yao Ming's penis. And I think he had mentioned, there's this guy on Twitter talking about starting a new arcade. I mean, that's pretty awesome. We should all be excited about it. And I literally was just like, okay, hang on.
I know that was such an exciting time when I did that, man, because it was just felt like such a validation. It was just like, hey, wow, a Twitter account and 2 arcade machines in a corner store, like.
And you got hundreds of people following.
Yeah, and now we're close to reaching 1,000 genuine followers on Twitter. We try to keep it. We don't care what the number. We try to block the spammers and that type of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And the fake, the people, they I like to call them. What's that app people use?
The bots.
No, you see how they do it to do the auto retweets and stuff like that.
I hate those.
What is that one? A lot of people they try to have like funny accounts and stuff, and they're trying to pick up. You know what I mean?
They're basically just retweeting funny stuff that other people have tweeted.
Yeah, exactly, and stuff like that. Like I have no interest in any of that. I just want people that are interested in what we're saying, and sometimes they're gonna provide something interesting back.
Well, I do love the idea of having a place that turns Twitter into an actual thing, into a real place.
I mean, I guess I had an awkward Twitter story. We had a tweet up at the arcade, like someone I didn't know decided to organize for us, which was like a bunch of people on Twitter who came down. They call it a tweet up to the arcade, and we hooked up like tons of wicked prizes. Like we charged a $5 cover, and the cheapest prize that we gave out was $20 gift card. I think, or something ridiculous. Like this lady, I know her Twitter is Miss Ginger. I think it is. Miss Ginger.
Okay. Yeah, that's another one of those people. I just know on Twitter.
She contacted and brought together like tons of local businesses that donated. Like we had like a Boneheads like $25 gift card, and like the comic store downtown, Strange Adventures, they donated like I think it was a hoodie and gift cards and comics and books and stuff like. I mean, it was like wicked. Like, it was like $5 to get in, and it brought like 20 people down to the arcade who hadn't been there. But it was like So it was all these people like you feel like you know until all of a sudden they're in the room with you.
You're like,
All of a sudden you're like,
stranger danger.
I know. Instead of saying hi, you want to just like tweet to them and go hello. And
You're
just how
tweeting
they go
across
about.
the room.
So all of a sudden you got to interact. So that was kind of funny because it was for me anyway. Meeting the people, like, I'm pretty relaxed for the most part, but meeting new people is never. Depending on your mood, I guess. Never,
Well, we
I never have a problem
especially
with that.
like a mass amount. So it was really funny because it was like everyone was like all hyped up on Twitter, and then we got there and everyone was just like, there was actually no Twitter happening because people were playing the games, which was good, but it was wasn't as social.
Well, but
as it was.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's easy to think you're being social on Twitter, and I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the social media thing. So if you have a community center to go to, it gets people kind of out of their shells, and
people who
allows you to
normally would not have left the big
exactly,
center.
yeah. People who just exist on Twitter,
yeah, exactly.
because they do exist.
And we really want to have a good blend of because we really want to present it as a museum. Like we're going to have exhibits, and we're going to have it's just won't be a game there. There'll be
history on each game.
A history of each game, where who manufactured, where it came from, anything significant that happened about it.
Yeah, you talked about the original artwork on all the cabinets.
Yeah, and other things because we find these games they're not all fully restored. Like we were really lucky. I feel really lucky to have connected with this guy with the machines from the 80 to 84 era. But there's a lot of machines that I have. It's like, well, how are we going to get these restored? I can't do all this. You know what I mean? So we were thinking of what about things like, what if we have an event where we get, we pay 10 local artists and they each get to pick a machine, to do. They redo all the artwork or whatever, and we'll provide the supplies. And at the end, we do something where we vote on it, and the person that wins, maybe earns something to go towards their tuition or something, something or another project that they're having, or just cash for their pocket or something like that.
That's a brilliant
idea.
But
have something like that, but then build around it. Let someone record it. Let someone put it up as a web series just for fun. You know what I mean? Just to go through and learn how to do that stuff. That's how you do it. You want to do something, start doing it.
Well, I think you're talking to the right guys.
Yeah.
And just do something like that, and that's something that could keep you busy for 2 months, and you could bring reach a good audience of artists and give people and like I said, the art is just as important as the guy that programs it, or just as important as the guy that buys it and puts it out for people to play. You know what I mean?
You could have local people teaching little seminars on what they're good at, and
exactly,
basically, it's really interesting.
I met tons of guys that were like, "Oh, I built my own cabinet, right? You want me to show you how to do this, do that?" It's like, well, no, it'd be awesome, but if you want to do that in front of whatever, we charge people $5, and that will help cover the cost of the supplies, and maybe we have, because we're gonna have we want to have this area of to teach this stuff, so we want to have a retail store. I see this as part of it, so not only T-shirts, not only our own brand stuff,
right, but components for the
arcade
games,
machines and buttons,
joysticks and buttons and everything like that.
You know what I mean? So maybe that helps people come in, and they can come in, pick up a cabinet, the parts they need, and all that stuff, and learn right there how to assemble it and put it together. And maybe it's only 2 or 3, people that are into that, but
a lot of people are into it. I remember when we had the first Street Fighter tournament, and those guys, those buttons have to be pristine. People who in the fighting game community,
they were cursing and swearing.
Their controllers.
This button doesn't react the way it should.
Yeah, my buddy Randy, who I connected with through the arcade, he was the first real fanatic about of the arcade, but he's just private supporter. He sends me tons of links and information, or if he sees things for sale. And I've we've developed a relationship. I've gone down and hung out. He's got Randy's arcade in his apartment, and he's got a collection. He has
he's one of those guys who's made his own kind of cabinet.
Well, he runs it on PC, but he's got if he's playing Pac-Man, he can rotate the monitor this way, and he has it hooked up to joysticks and stuff. But it's a lot of it's emulation and stuff like that. But he has the guns and all this sort of stuff. But he still comes out.
It's about as authentic as you're going to get in your own apartment.
But I'm telling you, that guy did Mortal Kombat 2. When I finally get that fixed and the buttons replaced, because I've fixed it, but I haven't replaced everything from head to toe, and that's only the thing. That's the only thing I can do that's going to make him happy. So I finally posted a pic actually just last night. I ordered a bunch of switches, they go under the button. So when you hit the button, it's a little metal thing that hits this button that sends a signal to let it know the button's been pressed, basically. So the switches, the more it's played, the slower reaction they get. They start to wear out, stuff like that. And so I just ordered 150 of them yesterday. But each machine though, like Mortal Kombat 2, like there's a switch for every button and for every direction you can move on your controller except diagonal. So you have like, say if you have a 6-button game, but it's 2 players, and there's 2 start buttons. You know what I mean? And then you have this, so it's like 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 24 switches you need just for that one game or whatever. And they're not expensive. Like, if I ordered them, I can't wait for the museum because, like, it's like when I ordered them, they were like just under $4 per switch in that. But if I bulk ordered them, if I ordered 1,600 of them, I could get them for like $2.
1,600.
Yeah, which we just don't have that. Like one thing we do with
drop
the,
$3 grand on just switches.
I know. Like that's some games, you know what I mean? So
but you could put together packages where everything required to build your own arcade cabinet.
Yeah,
here's a package. Bam.
Exactly. Yeah. If you want someone to walk you through doing it, here you go. That's
some assembly required.
Why don't we've been talking for over half an hour. Why don't we take a quick break? I'll point out quickly that Derek is watching.
Hi, Derek.
When we were talking about him mentioning to us that you were on Twitter, he said, "Yes, it was me. Love Derek.
Love Derek.
Maybe that's why.
Love Derek.
Yeah.
Because we do love Derek.
We do love Derek.
And but I gotta ask him questions about his new Twitter handle. He went from Derek BGN to Mushboom, and I don't quite understand why. Yeah, it is what it is. I missed that in his. I'm sure he explained it way back in his Twitter feed, but I don't fucking bother going back. He tweets too much for me to go that far back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Twitter is about going forward.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to do some This Day in History, a couple of news articles on our Facebook page we're going to talk about, and Dan is more than welcome to stay with us if he wishes.
Do a little riffing.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll be back.
You want your special day to be just right, right? Well, so did I. I called Maladjusted Media, and all the little details took care of themselves. An audio-video setup, photographer, and even a videographer, all working as a team to capture the memories I cared about. Oh, and I saved a bundle by getting them all in the same place. You should try it.
Visit us online, maladjustedmedia.ca.
Oasis, epic sports pub, where you don't have to spend a lot to get a lot.
Hey, it's Jeff from My Living Will. You're listening to It's On Halifax.
Make foods from different video games or movies and stuff like that. They just recreate them. It's fucking sweet. Oh, Derek got back to you about his Twitter handle change.
Oh, what did he say? Was that on the chat?
Yes.
Said, Mushroom Boom is a character from a
Secret of Mana.
Are we broadcasting?
And I like being more anonymous.
Oh, because he likes to troll people.
Yes, he does.
Up to 66 now.
Nice!
Up to for a morning. Not live at about 11.
You're gonna need to put you're gonna have to put like a $5,000 prize, a meeting with Dean Kane.
Cider.
Stuffs.
Snacky?
Oh. Yeah, I might go grab something to eat after this.
What's today?
Today is the
Wednesday, right? Oh, no, Wednesday.
15th?
Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday the 15th. Wednesday. Couldn't have been any more off.
Yeah. It ended in day.
What is today? January?
I hope not. Global warming.
We're all gonna die.
By the way,
I love this.
I took the day after my birthday off, so I'm having a big to-do, and you're all invited.
Awesome.
months.
But I'm just saying, I booked it off 3 months ago.
Oh,
Whoa.
you,
Because that's how long ago I
your hangover went back in time. This is impacting your life months on either end.
Last year was pretty tame. The year before got messy. You were there last year.
I think I
We
saw
went
you
to
on
the
your.
Oasis and played some pool. And,
I think I saw
Yes.
you. I think I was
Yes.
there for like 20 minutes or less on your birthday last year.
yeah.
It was
we showed up
actually-
It was
at the-
early.
at the
I was,
Oasis.
yeah, but you were
Yeah.
well in the bag beyond that at that
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I started at noon.
And you were there.
Well,
I can't remember why I
You
was going there
showed
for
up
a
with
bit.
Dan Haig later. 'Cause
Yeah.
We were wearing the same shirt. And I said, no, you have to go home and change. It's my birthday.
Yes. which was the gayest thing either of us have ever done. But what do you
Yeah.
do?
We
What do you-
synced
what
up
do you
our
do?
wardrobe. That just happened.
Well, we just hang out too much.
I didn't even know you owned the same thing.
I know. Weird. He's-
I didn't say anything.
yeah, I know. Grin says it all.
Play that
Wobbly
video.
sausage.
Play that video.
Jesus Christ.
It's not
He's
bad.
not found.
Aw.
The chive has failed you, Adam.
Just put,
Failed.
Let's do a search for wobbly sausage.
Failed you.
Where? Here?
Yeah. There, that one, yeah.
Ah, fuck you for recording that right side up.
I hate that.
People don't know how to take videos on their phones.
Yeah, people don't know how fucking cameras work. But this phone is a camera.
The worst is when somebody starts recording upright and then they turn it sideways, so the rest of the video is like
Yeah.
What is that?
wobbly sausage.
Give me that back now. Give it now. Come on. Please stop laughing, bloody idiot. It's not funny. Give me that.
Oh God, wash your hands for the love of God.
Give it here. Idiot. Thanks. It's not funny.
Is that what I think it was?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Why did she need like?
Wow,
What's
that
with
was
that? She was a small girl.
That was
too.
that was a foot and a half long. That's
Size
anyway.
of my forearm.
I love how the video starts with wobbly sausage, and then the kid just slams it on the bed. Totally.
Ah, the internet. What would I do without it?
How far back do we want to go?
that's back to the last episode.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. You want to go back, Friday?
Yeah,
You
because
guys-
last week we
you
only
haven't-
talked about
you voted for
Brian.
yourself
We didn't
on the
talk
post
about any of
yet?
the other
Oh,
stuff.
that's true.
You voted for yourself.
So
Yeah.
I'll go back
Yes.
to the previous episode.
Try to get as much people as I could privately because I
Yeah.
hate doing that publicly.
No, I know, right?
But I would message pretty much Facebook just to get it. Would get you
Oh.
You know,
publicity.
it just make people aware.
Oh, what's that? At least you get them one
What?
time.
Yeah.
Good to
No, I voted you for best new business.
That's awesome.
Shall we return?
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay, so
here's the Earth.
it's a pretty sweet
Earth, you might say. Wrong. Okay, so
We're back.
we're back.
Oh, well, hello.
Well,
Okay.
welcome. I didn't see you there.
Howdy, neighbor.
Yeah. Didn't we have a Mr. Rogers?
We had a
Neighbor.
discussion about Mr. Rogers recently and about how much he's missed.
The other night.
Yeah,
Yes, and
we've-
then we argued about whether or not he or Mr. Dress Up was better.
Mr. Dressup wins.
Well, he gets points for being Canadian.
I'd say Mr. Dressup wins. Mr. Rogers I liked still, but I still maintain he should have thought of a better name for his mailman than Mr. McFeely.
Hey, you don't choose your own name. He was born into that name.
when you
Yeah.
do the vote, do KC and Finnegan count with Mr. Dress, because if they're a part of the boat, he wins every time. But
Yeah,
if you have to
Casey and Finnegan are
exclude
pretty
them,
sweet.
just go mano a mano, I don't know. It'd be a tough vote.
I'd like to see them fight to the death.
With either Casey or Finnegan as the referee.
Yeah.
timekeeper?
I'm pretty sure Mr. Rogers was actually a Marine at some point, so he would stomp the living shit out of Mr. Dressup. It would be bad.
Hey, who knows? Maybe Mr. Dressup was secret JTF.
Yeah, you never know.
Who knows? Who knows? These are things we talk about. Anyway, I don't know why we do that. We just do.
A fight to the death between Mr. Dressup
Who would
and
win in
Mr.
a fight
Rogers?
between Mr. Dressup and Mr. Rogers?
I don't know, but I'd watch it.
I'm saying Mr. Dress-Up when
would be the
Casey
best.
and Finnegan come in with the run-in with the chair and the ref's not looking. Mr. Dress-Up shot.
Best dressed death match ever.
Maybe
Sweater
not.
vests all over the place.
Awesome. So let's move on. We have 2 weeks worth of stories to talk about because last week we had Brian McQuarrie on as a guest via Skype, and we discussed for an hour straight without any breaks. We discussed his involvement with Picnic Face and with
we really
Make 'em Ups, and
We grilled him.
we
pretty
did.
hard, yeah.
And he actually appreciated that. He actually said, "You guys challenged me." He goes, "I like that people care that I know about comics."
Hells
Like,
yeah, I do. I
So-
mean, if you're walking around talking about
I would be
being
the best Lex Luthor ever.
Yeah,
You better know your shit. And he does.
Well,
he
and
does.
comic book fans are pretty rabid, right? They will fucking tear the living bejesus out of you. Just ask Ben Affleck.
Have they casted anyone for the character yet?
Not yet, no.
No.
Okay, well it's worth.
They
worth
talked
going.
about Bryan Cranston, but then they never really did anything with it. It
You
was
got
a
the wrong
rumor.
Brian, DC. If you cast Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of tweets about that, but I didn't get in and read a lot about it, so just kind of know the abridged version of what he's doing. I missed last week's episode.
Well, and we have the Table of Geekfuls episode that I was on there a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about a lot about Ben Affleck getting cast as Batman. And it was funny because 4 of us all agreed that it was an okay casting. We were all really excited about it. And they were like, "Well, shit, that's not good radio. Let's just move on." Everyone's sucking Ben Affleck's dick all of a sudden.
Something that
It's
happened a couple of weeks ago was there was a caller called 911. It was a school teacher or librarian or something like that. And there's an actual video you can go watch where it's the actual 911 call. And
Yeah, this guy basically held up an entire elementary school full of kids with a
with a
shotgun
gun,
or
and
a
didn't
rifle or
he?
something.
But he's clearly mentally handicapped. He didn't want
Well,
to
not
do it.
handicapped, mentally ill.
Mentally ill. Sorry. Yes, that's wrong word.
It's just like a guy
Wow.
with Down syndrome and an automatic shotgun. Like, what the
Way
fuck,
to get
man?
everyone with a mental illness to hate you.
But
That's good.
she called 911 and she talked him down. And you know
She
she
doesn't
avoided
realize.
she avoided a lot of killing simply by listening to this kid and talking to this kid instead of just freaking out. But after the whole thing's over, right at the end of the call, if you go back and you watch it, she actually at the end the police come in and take him out, and she goes, "I've never been so terrified in my entire life."
Well, I mean, I'm sure she's never had a gun held to her. I mean, it's fucked up.
But the whole time she's talking to him like, "Sweetie, the police are gonna come in. They're gonna take you."
They're gonna step on your neck and kick you in the rib cage and just relax.
Because she's on the phone like, if he lets the police come in here, will you guys promise not to hurt him?
Suicide by cop.
Will you promise not to hurt him?
Go in a blaze of glory.
Yeah. All right.
It's funny when you said mentally handicapped instead of mentally ill. It brought to mind a movie that I saw online recently. They are releasing in, I believe, some Swedish country or one of those Western European countries called Detective Downs. It is exactly what it sounds like. There is a movie coming out this year about a detective with Down syndrome. And
It's original.
It looks awesome.
It's original.
Well, I talked about writing a feel-good sports movie called First Downs.
I think they made that movie. It was
My-
called Radio.
Rudy.
Yeah, I guess it did. Rudy. Yeah, except,
Well, Rudy didn't have Down syndrome. He was just small.
yeah,
Several
he was
movies
just missing a
alive.
chromosome.
Radio was about
He was actually
Cuba Gooding
mentally
Jr., who
retarded.
had, I think, Down syndrome.
Oh. Well, he doesn't look like he has Down
It's a
syndrome.
sports movie. It's called
I call
Radio.
bullshit.
It's a football movie.
Yeah. One of those feel-good football movies.
They missed that one.
I don't know what his. He's definitely mentally handicapped. I don't know what his. With intellectual disability. Thank you, Wikipedia, for clarifying what specific.
Well, I mean, intellectual disability, like it's like learning disability. It's just not playing with a full deck, you know. Eh.
I know a lot of people that are not playing with a full deck that
I
aren't
know.
necessarily mentally handicapped, or at least they're not
Not
diagnosed.
legally. Yeah, not legally anyway.
Yeah.
It's funny, we went from some woman getting held up in an elementary school to movies that star people with Down syndrome.
That's the.
And all I can think of is the Family Guy episode where Chris is dating the Down syndrome girl, and they do like the whole like show tunes, like 10-minute song.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah.
Well, people
Seth
like that,
MacFarlane.
man, he just exposes it. Like, he's not making fun. He's just trying to make everyone, like, chill out. Like, who cares if someone has Down syndrome? You know what I mean? Like, make it so outrageous
Well,
that you can't even get upset about it.
There was a YouTube series at one point called The Retarded Policeman. And the retarded policeman was played by a guy with Down syndrome, basically lampooning his own mental disability. And the opening sequence goes, "He's the retarded policeman," and he goes, "That's me." And it was just like, it was so
brutal.
it was borderline offensive. At the same time, I was like, this guy's
killing it.
actually pretty funny. You know, this is a good little series. Because every episode is just him pulling someone over and then acting retarded when he pulls them over. I'm like, oh, hello, retarded policeman. And it just goes downhill from there.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I recommend it to anybody. It's hilarious.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Is the voting for Best of Halifax still open?
I'm not sure. Let's go find out. Because you can vote for us.
Voting is still open. So
I got my vote in.
Go to.
Yeah,
well,
thanks.
you can vote daily.
Well,
Did
I
you
got
know
my,
that?
I got my vote in. I didn't say
It was
which
for who?
podcast.
Derek's like, thanks, Danny.
Catch you, man. I think it goes to the 22nd.
Yep.
That's what she's highlighted there.
There we
Yep.
go. And if you're on there...
You can vote for us. You don't have to. We'd appreciate it.
But there's the very first question is best new business.
That'd be awesome. And there's Best Corner Store. That would help out
Best
Daily
Corner
Sweets.
Store, the Daily Sweets. I know. I mean, I'm sure
the
your
only one
arcade
with
has
an
helped
arcade.
them out. Have they seen a spike in sales since you moved in?
You know what?
What are the numbers on
They
that?
have to have.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
No?
I know is like, I mean, we have
Well, that's
pretty much
their
we have a
business. This
hand-
is your business.
Exactly. We have a handshake deal. We split the revenue 50-50. She gets half. The other half goes back into the machines, like to restore them, get new games.
That's
whatever.
you
But
know,
I don't pay rent or utilities and stuff. So
You
it's
don't
all
run
cool.
into that much anymore, you know?
No.
It's it's spitting a handshake and 50-50 split and call it a day, right?
That's it.
That's
Yeah, it's
good
perfect.
business.
It's awesome, and like
I
I
love
said,
that.
she's of course, she's a pretty savvy businesswoman, and I suspect if she wasn't happy with it, we wouldn't be there for going on close to a year. So
Right.
So I guess
Well, we're
that's good.
quickly talking about the arcade again. You had mentioned that the arcade museum wouldn't just be, you talked about having like a little store, but you also mentioned a kitchen.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an important part. So we've been actually working on sort of like
a cafe style, or
right now our feature dish. It seems to
Your
be odd to be
feature dish?
talking about this
Yeah.
before, but
Well,
we're ready to rock. Like when
spitballing,
things,
right?
if Kickstarter takes off like we're hoping, and even if it doesn't, we're still moving forward. So, you got to have this stuff figured out. We have this super secret, awesome Cape Breton homemade donair recipe
Nice.
with sauce and stuff, and we tweaked it around and made a couple variations where you can have like a chicken, like a healthy version of donair that tastes like an awesome 3 a.m. I'm drunk donair. And so and it's just freaking awesome.
Well, and
so we're
it
looking
adds
at
so many more dimensions adding a kitchen into the works. I mean,
Yeah,
the
there's a
ideas
lot
that
of
pop
options.
into my head when you say something like that. If you have a podcast space and a kitchen, I mean, you could start a YouTube series. It's just so
It's
much to do.
fun. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because even with the arcade, we had a lot of like independent people coming in and say, "Oh, can we film something in the arcade? Can
Yeah.
we do something?" It's amazing. Like
Well,
amazing.
Kevin
different
and I
people.
have shot what 2 or 3 so
Yeah,
far.
well, that's
Yeah.
that's how part of how it started. But I mean, just others, like just other people that come in and say, "Oh, can we come film this in here? Come film that?" And they just they just ask the person working in the corner store, and I just told them just say yes to anyone that wants to do anything in there. And I kind of find it when I have the same sort of policy with the with the museum, because it could, like I said, could be sweet. We got the food, like I said, like we're definitely like donairs. I'm kind of anti deep fat fryers for various reasons. One, this is my first job I ever had in my life. I poured a vat of hot grease on my leg when I was working at Harvey's.
Beautiful.
And couldn't find the first aid kit, which sucked. So I kind of anti-fat fryer, but something along that sort of, I don't want to say like healthy, but wholesome type of food. Healthier. I mean, if you can get like a lean ground chicken donair with sauce that isn't just made with glumps of sugar and fatty milk, I mean, you're ahead of the game. You know what I mean? Like, so they have that sort of thing, and
some gourmet down home cooking.
I look forward to it. That's I can share. We got a couple more stories I want to talk about really quickly. We've got about 15 minutes left ish. First off, blurred lines. There was a female feminist response called Defined Lines.
Which is a second video response, because there was one from Halifax before this one. So people are just jumping on the let's fucking nail Robin Thicke to a cross bandwagon and make parody videos.
Yeah, I think the song Blurred Lines is, it's kind of about rape-ish.
It's not. It's not even close.
Kind of is.
That's bullshit.
It's not. Have you listened to the lyrics?
What the fuck? Like, he said what he meant with those words. Basically, people have taken the meaning and attached it to the words because the words are there. I mean, he said, like, listen, have you ever talked dirty to somebody? You're getting hot and heavy with a girl, and you say, yeah, I know you want it, and that's fucking kind of hot and shit. And that was, like, it wasn't rapey at all. People have attached that to the words, and that's it. I'm sick of hearing about this song.
People are very sensitive right now.
I know, yeah. If I hear
like
fucking
kids,
I hear the words rape culture again, I'm gonna lose it. Then again, I mean, it's something that should be talked about.
They don't say rape culture anymore. They just say Ohio.
But I mean, sometimes you take it like that problem, like with the kids with the chant.
That was disgusting.
Awful.
That was awful.
What people lost touch was like how responsible and how socially aware were you when you were in your first year university and someone's doing something, you know what I mean? Like, you feel unattached to the rest of the world.
Well,
you know what I mean? It was wrong, it was bullshit and all that, but I think just people forgot, like, they're just kids who didn't know better, like, so to attack each and every one of them and have that ruin their lives.
They had to attack the establishment at that point.
Yeah, well, not enough blame was placed with the school.
The school, absolutely.
Yeah, the kids were getting the brunt of it, and the school didn't really get in much.
Well, and it was kind of like a mob mentality thing. You get that many kids together during Frosh Week. Most of them are drunk because it's their first time out. Yeah, totally. They just lead them right on.
But again, you said it's on the establishment because they're creating the rape culture.
It wasn't like the Frosh kids saying it. It was the leaders chanting this to the Frosh candidates. It was,
exactly.
It was the people who were supposed to be in charge and teaching them how to be SMU students.
Keep this in perspective. These leaders were probably Frosh the year before. So again, how much as an individual have you grown? Again, I'm not defending. I think it's bullshit. It was gross, but I think it's on the university for allowing that type of stuff.
I think that needs to be talked about. Like, Blurred Lines, it's a song. It's art. You can take it how you want it. It's the last thing people should be talking about because there are legitimate fucking basically the very legitimate problems going on right now, especially in universities.
Yeah, exactly.
And that needs to be talked about. That's a serious issue that we can do something about. But some guy making a song and a sexy video, relax. Fucking turn the TV off and go read a book.
That and they're like, they think, to an educated person, maybe you can look at it and take the art out of it. But someone who's in Frosh Week, yelling this song and they hear that, maybe they take a
educational institution. I mean, there's no excuse for that.
Well, not just that, but I mean, like, at the end of the day, that song's been going on at SMU for 10 years. Last year, somebody tried to say something, got squashed by the school, and then it wasn't until that video ended up on the internet that it caused all the hubbub that it ended up in,
I guarantee you that nobody has been raped because of Blurred Lines, but consider university students learning what they did with those kinds of chants during Frosh Week.
But you got to remember
and
also
how many sexual assaults go on in universities.
At that age.
Exactly.
They did a bit of background look. That chant wasn't just in SMU.
Oh yeah, doesn't surprise me.
That was like that's been at universities across Canada, across the states. Sometimes the last line G is for grab that ass. Apparently that was a little different depending on where it was, but the point is, that was happening across Canada. It wasn't a SMU issue. It's a university.
Oh, it is
issue.
a university issue. Absolutely.
It's pretty scary, man.
It is. It's terrifying.
Those kids are deciding who they are over these next couple of years of their lives.
Oh yeah, it's one of the most formative.
That's what I did. That's really defined who you were.
I kind of saw through the veil in my first semester and got out of there. I dropped out after a semester because I was like, this is a whole bunch of bullshit. This is like everything bad about high school, except I have to live with these people now. Fuck this. I'm getting drunk all the time and going to classes that I'm not even signed up for.
Pat's getting a little out of hand here. Let's move on to the next subject. We got a shit ton of stuff to sort of go through. This Chicken McNuggets video. It's on our website. Oh my god. Did you watch it?
Yes.
This woman loses her goddamn mind. It's hilarious.
Like only you can at McDonald's.
I'm not saying I would do it, but I can understand.
It was 10:30 in the morning. It was breakfast. They don't serve regular food during breakfast, which is what the guy was trying to tell her. We just don't. Why not? And she freaks out. And one of the things she yells is, "Don't make me take my ultimate form. I will destroy you." And like your ultimate form.
What's her power level? It's over 9,000.
But she literally they close the door on her and she goes, "I will go Super Saiyan."
That's awesome.
She's like seriously screaming the shit and believes it clearly.
Well, and I like the.
And this is 10:30 in the morning.
The freeze frame of the video.
This is breakfast.
It has a caption: "I will fucking kill you." And
that's what she yells right after she smashes the window with the brick and runs away and drives away. I'll fucking kill you.
How do you go from screaming about being a Super Saiyan to literally trying to smash somebody's head in with a brick? You are unbalanced.
That's not going to get you your nuggets.
No, it's...
break in and start
how does any human being want...
Like, sneak in the back and flip the pile.
How does any human being want chicken nuggets that badly?
They're addictive. Like cocaine addictive. It's bad.
Oh, that's a neat little story, too. There was a father who was trying to pay for his daughter's wedding. He went up in the attic and found his Spider-Man #1 comic.
The Amazing Spider-Man #1, which is, by the way, worth about $150,000
anyway,
last I checked.
He sold it.
That's about what a wedding costs nowadays.
Yeah, pretty much.
But he sold that and paid for her wedding. And since then, he found a couple of other old comics, and he's been selling those, doing renos to his house, and setting up a college fund for his grandchildren, future grandchildren.
Nice. See, I can get behind a college fund, but I don't think I would sell the Amazing Spider-Man for a wedding. I don't really believe in lavish weddings. But I do believe in Spider-Man, though.
But it was his...
He exists.
I agree.
Let's move on. All right, I'm not even letting that simmer.
Oh, hey, I like... What the fuck do you post on our page, Adam? Like, we go from Spider-Man and we page up an alleged molester killed. It's like, Jesus, what do you look at all day?
Well, with this one...
My God.
Okay, let's bring it over here real quick. This woman got to sing a duet.
Hey, I wanted to post about happy goats like 2 days ago. I should really start posting more.
You should. I tell you to. Anyway, alleged molester killed. That story was kind of scary. A father... Someone came in. One of the other kids came into the house and said there was a man in the shed or the barn or whatever the fuck.
Getting fresh.
So Buddy goes out, and this is in Texas, of course. So he goes out and catches a 47-year-old man sexually assaulting his 5-year-old daughter,
and beat him to death with his bare hands.
Beat him to death.
Sounds about right. We call that instant karma.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call it justice porn because that's. Okay, let's
not go
there.
Let's not say justice porn in the same sentence as 5-year-old girl.
Yeah, you're fair enough.
Okay.
But to be honest, that's when that story came out. I was like, that's justice happening on the fly.
Do you think most people would agree that that's fine? That he's not.
I don't think any jury
I'm
in the
absolutely
world.
100% fine with what happened.
Yeah.
I think that most people would be. There is definitely going to be the group that killing is never okay.
What if the alleged molester was sick or mentally ill or retarded or something?
You get caught in the act like that. You're a father protecting your 5-year-old kid from this monster, essentially, in the context of the situation. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there's no way you can explain that to me where the guy's actions don't lead to me being okay with him being beaten to death.
It doesn't matter how mentally deficient he is. Like, give me the rabbit. Give me the rabbit,
not be
Lenny.
beaten to death? Yes, I think that he should have You
know, that's fair.
Been brought to trial. But I do not have a problem with him having been beaten to death. At the end of the day, that guy deserves...
And I mean, it's you don't hear about that all that often here in our country, but there's been a lot of stories recently from like India and shit where it's just getting bad. We think rape culture is bad here. We talk about blurred lines with some women dancing around with their boobies out. And
remember we had that one story that 18-year-old girl in Papua New Guinea chopped her dad's head off because he kept raping her.
Yeah. She was a badass. I want to see a movie about her.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, let's move on.
Action star.
Moving on.
This is a deep
Bill
episode.
Nye is going to be on Dancing with the Stars this year.
And he's going to win.
Gigantic thumbs up all over the place.
Bill Nye doesn't lose at anything.
And that's what I said. I said this will be the first year I will be watching Dancing with the Stars. Bill Nye.
That's one of my favorite Twitter accounts is like a Bill Nye parody. It's like Bill Nye Yo or something. And it's like a hip hop version of.
Science, bitches!
He's dropping science big time.
Motherfucker, drop his mic.
Let's move on.
I love it.
Let's move on.
I
Trouble at Speed we already talked about. Fuck that.
Cat opening drawer gets busted.
Oh, that's just a cute little video.
It's goddamn adorable.
It is fucking adorable.
I've seen it like 3 times already.
It's ridiculously adorable.
And then wobbly sausage.
September 11th happened.
It was funny too because I was gonna. You posted this big spiel about September 11th and yada yada yada, and I wanted to go on this day in history and find some really obscure thing that happened on September 11th in like 1800 and be like, never forget. You know, it's like the invasion of Turkey by some other country. And I was like, you know what? That's even too offensive for me. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, that's a touchy one.
Yeah, it is a touchy one.
The Irish version of the Cup song, that was fucking awesome. They got all these kids to play the Cup song.
Right.
You know, the game. Anyway.
Did everybody get drunk?
No, what they did was that set they played the game and that set the beat, and then a band played in the back, and like this woman was singing in Gaelic, and it's a beautiful song. Take the time, go look at it.
Also, there's a new Kendrick Lamar tune with Anna Kendrick starring in the video, and the entire hook is the Cup song. It's really good tune. It's a great track.
That's awesome.
I'm sure Derek would agree with me. He's a big hip hop fan.
Fair enough. I'd like to check that out. Breaking Bad fans, what are your thoughts on Better Call Saul? It's the Breaking Bad spin-off about the lawyer pre Walter White.
Yeah. No, I need more of that man in my life.
Who's that, Saul?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is his name? Fuck.
I forget. He's a comedian. He's funny. I just want to know what your thoughts are. Go to our Facebook page. The link's on there. We posted that September 12th. Post your comments. Also, UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship in Halifax? Question mark?
Question mark?
Yes.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
Well, they've already said that it's going to be happening. They've said if not in 2014 or 2015, then in the next few years. Which this group is said that's not soon enough. They want TJ Grant versus Pettis in TJ Grant's championship fight to fight here. Which would be amazing.
If he wins, if that fight's not, if he wins and he's champion, there will be a card here with him as champion. Guaranteed.
Just let me know
if he win. If it won't happen, I don't think, until he wins the championship.
Let me know when I can pre-order my tickets. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Here's my bank card and PIN number for anyone selling tickets.
Also, yesterday Floyd Mayweather made his return in boxing, as I'm a big fan. Haven't seen it yet. Probably will be watching it this evening. Very, very excited. No, Danny's just like, meh.
It's okay fight.
I'm over. You watched it?
I love boxing, but Mayweather he's charismatic, but he's a dickbag.
It's guys. I won't say who won, but it's a decision.
It's a decision, really? Oh wow. Well, I'll watch it all the same, just because it's boxing is.
Phoneblocks.com. This is a concept where phones have interchangeable parts that you can buy.
Like Legos?
Very much like Legos, actually. And what they're hoping to do is get the major phone companies to come together, like Apple and Samsung and Sony. And
so basically, you can build your own phone like you would a PC out of component parts.
Yes, exactly.
And it's to help reduce waste.
Reduce waste, because when you throw out your phone, you're throwing out all the parts that are bad.
True.
Maybe you've just broken your screen. Maybe you've You just need more space.
And part of it too is like when they upgrade a phone, like a lot of the times, like when a new version of the iPhone comes up, like maybe the screen's the same, the processor's upgraded, but you throw the whole thing out.
Yeah,
just
fire the whole phone.
And the battery's a little bit bigger.
Or something like that, yeah. So if you could just buy the upgraded
But the concept, like
cool.
for photographers, if you're really into taking a lot of pictures and you want to take better pictures on the fly, you can upgrade, buy like a high
you
resolution
don't have to buy
camera.
a phone specifically for that.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's an amazing concept. Check it out. It's on our Facebook page. And then that brings us to the end of all the news we had. So thank you very much
Hell
for
yeah.
sitting through that. We rolled
And
through
we are definitely going to be linking to the Kickstarter campaign when it comes out later in the week.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hopefully by Wednesday.
As soon as the Kickstarter campaign
weekend.
is out, find it on Halifax Vintage, Twitter, Facebook. That thing, we'll be retweeting and sharing it on our Facebook page as well. Because support local.
Yeah, support local. I mean, and any way you can too. How can people help out if they don't have the cash? I mean,
it's tight times, yeah, for sure. If you love doing something and you think that's something that could contribute to getting the museum off the ground, then get in touch. balddanny@gmail.com, BALDDANNY@gmail.com, or HalifaxVintageArcades@gmail.com, and just say what you like doing and how you want to, what's your availability, and we'll find a spot. Because like I said, I'm a big believer in if people are doing what they love to do, then they'll do it and love doing it. Like, you know what I mean? That's what life should be.
Get involved in the community. We are very welcoming.
So I think that's it for this week.
I will personally give you a hug.
That's it for this week. I want to thank Emily, our controller, EMJHFX on Twitter, Pat King HFX on Twitter, myself, Mark Adam HFX on Twitter, and our guest, Danny Baldwin, who is Bald Danny, and Halifax Vintage, both on Twitter.
Yeah, that's not my... I don't have a personal Twitter anymore.
Oh, no?
Personal Twitter?
Not really.
No?
It's there, it's just inactive, so...
So throw your plugs out. We
Halifax
want to make sure people
Vintage.
can find
Halifax
you.
Vintage on Twitter. HVA Museum on Facebook.
Yes.
And Daily Sweets Vintage Arcade.
Also, we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/itsonhalifax. Itsonhalifax.ca is our website. We have a new website coming very soon, maybe this week, maybe next week.
Hooray!
So we'll let you know how that goes, and we'll go from there.
See you next week.
See you next week.
This episode of It's on Halifax was brought to you by Maladjusted Media and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.